Hey everybody, welcome to what I'm calling the first episode of the Canadian Woman of the Outdoors podcast. My name is Nicole Vatchell. I've actually decided to start this podcast after a lot of time spent listening to podcasts, listening to or watching YouTube videos, and seeing that there's a lot of focus on a lot of men based podcasts, but not so much women, especially in the Canadian scene. And hunting and fishing up in Canada is vastly different than that of the States. So I decided to start this podcast and talk to a bunch of amazing women that are Canadian women of the outdoors. They hunt, they fish, they forage, they have businesses, just to kind of get their perspective, introduce them to more people, and just kind of build a bigger network. So this is episode 1. It's a very special episode for 2 reasons. First reason being I have a very special giveaway from Chili Moose. So you'll have to follow our social media for that giveaway. Also, second reason that's very special is I am super lucky to have Miss Shawna-Lee Enair-Fox from Wild North Adventures on Wild TV, which is Canada's leading hunting and fishing network. So welcome, Shawna.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, it's been a wild ride. I know when I approached you back in the summer about it, I was super nervous, and you were just like, "Yes, let's do this." And I was like, "All right, cool. She's on board. Let's do this."
Yeah,
So,
I'm always down to support women in business, and it's definitely something that's lacking in our industry in Canada. So if this is where you want to be, I'm proud of you, and I'll support you in any way I can.
well, I completely agree. And even like when you were at the Sportsman show, there was only like what 4 or 5 of you ladies on the stage, and I think it just needs to be a bigger, more diverse. There needs to be more of us.
Yeah, I agree.
So, so So we'll start with the easy questions here. Basically, what got you into your hunting fishing? Like where from a little Shawna-Lee to like where you are now, like the host of the show and all your adventures and everything.
So I grew up in the north. I was born in northern Ontario. It is the middle of a snowstorm right now while I'm recording with you. Um, but I started here. I started in the north. My grandparents owned right from when I was born. They owned an outfitters establishment called Golden Eagle Camp here in Matachewan, Ontario, and I learned to walk, ride, cast, shoot, all there. Write my name. All of the things. If my grandpa went to go invade a bear stand without me, he'd be in trouble. If my nan went out fishing without me, she'd be in trouble. I spent time at the outfitters camp growing up than I did with my own parents. So it's in my blood. I was raised in it. For the outdoors, really, the First Nation aspect of it all really didn't come into play until I was older. I got my status card when I was younger. I was in elementary school when I got my status card. I knew I was Native growing up, but my mom never really raised me in it. She was not a cultural woman. I guess when she was growing up, it was almost embarrassing to be First Nation. She was made lots of people were made fun of, and we're not in the era right now where truth and reconciliation was a thing like that,
Yeah.
but back then when my mom was in elementary school, that's not how it was.
Yeah.
We still had, like, up until 1996, we still had residential schools. So to be Native, you didn't speak much of it because you were afraid. Yeah. So now we're in an era where we're standing up tall and we're being proud about that and we're embracing our culture. And when I was in my 20s,
And it's beautiful. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
thank you. And that's a whole other aspect of hunting that we're going to touch on today, is that cultural hunting. It's not a sport for me. It's more of a lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yep.
And but yeah, in my 20s I started questioning after college, like, who am I? Like, I feel like I'm missing that piece of me. I love the outdoors. I love being in the north. I am drawn to my First Nation culture, but I didn't know what that was. So I just started immersing myself in anything that had to do with First Nation programming, drumming, land-based teachings, sweat ceremonies, powwows. I started applying for all the jobs in First Nation communities in my area, and I was successful in working in my community, and I'm still very successful in working in my community now. And that's kind of where I got into the hunting more, that's where I wanted to start learning more, is that cultural piece where I was connecting, healing my soul out on the land. And then that kind of spiraled into providing for my family as well, and providing a self-sustainable meat that I know where it's coming from organically. Our creator places those animals in our paths. I'm a firm believer that an animal doesn't give up its life unless it is meant to give up its life for you. I go out and I hunt really hard, and there's times where I'm like, gosh, why am I not successful? And then there's times where I go out, and in those moments where that animal gives its life to me, it was meant to happen that way.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
animal, and they're 10 times fold to give itself to you if it's meant for you.
Yeah.
And those are little teachings that I learned growing and learning on the land, and I'm still learning. So when you're saying, how did you get here today? I'm still learning. I'm still getting there. I'm still figuring
Yeah.
it like everybody else in the outdoors. But when
You
it
can
comes,
never have too much education, honestly. I love learning too, and I know I'm going to be learning until the day I die. Like, it's just, I love learning too.
yeah, me too. And I think that that's where people are starting to get stuck when it comes to um, blocking people who are trying to learn in the outdoors, like women. There's so many women in the outdoors right now that are like, teach me, teach me, teach me, teach me.
Yep.
There's so many people that are like, let's gatekeep this. So
Yeah.
I am such an advocate for supporting women in the outdoors, getting people out there, women or men, people who are wanting to come and learn how to be safe in the outdoors, learn how to forage our medicines, learn how to respect animals in the outdoors. There's so many aspects of being an outdoors person, and now that COVID is over, everyone is wanting to be outdoors. Everyone's
Yes.
wanting to be
Yes.
together. And I think once COVID started, that was like everyone's sort of outreach. Okay, let's go outdoors. Let's learn.
Yeah.
You saw women in the outdoors almost double during
Oh
COVID,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, because they're like, holy, I can't go to the grocery store. Holy, there's a lack of this. Holy, look at the price of meat. What's going on? Everyone had time to question all of the things that are going on now in this world.
What was COVID like for you guys up there? So I was actually originally from the Toronto area, and I know we were completely locked down. We didn't really have that option to even really get outdoors because you get outdoors and you see more concrete.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that
traveling was hard, so it was like it was different for you up there,
it was
obviously.
different. Yeah, it made things a lot easier, obviously, to go out and heal your mental health while everyone's telling you to stay locked indoors. My show also aired, the first season also aired at the height of COVID.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, that my season one
Okay.
height of COVID, and um, I don't even know how to say this in the most polite way, but it was a shit show.
It doesn't need to be polite.
Yeah, it was a shit show, y'all, and I will stand by that tenfold, because I am not only I'm not only a woman who is now putting myself out there and all of my hunting ability to be judged by the world, but I'm also a First Nation woman who does not abide by the normal tag system. I abide by First
Yes.
Nation hunting rules and regulations. So I'm now female, and I'm now bringing something to a global platform that's never been seen on national television a while before.
Now,
So
do you ever get backlash
I'm,
from the native aspect and the
I'm
non-tagging system?
mhm. So Wild TV, I cannot say enough amazing things about them. Scott Sterling is amazing. He every single time, and when I say that we got backlash, we got backlash. I
Oh
had
no.
involved my lawyer. I had to involve M&R. I had to have letters of support from industry leading professionals proving that the way that I hunt is legal, the way that um, the way that we carried out and do things is a different way of life, and that people just need, we're trying to educate. We're trying to, so that you guys not now don't see us as poachers, but you see this as a norm, because this is why if I made a difference in the first season to anybody, was it was First Nation people, because
Yeah.
and I saw that at the Toronto Sportsman Show, because like I said, the show aired at the height of COVID, and I hadn't been to a sportsman show since COVID had ended. So this past year was my first Toronto Sportsman Show that I attended since the show has aired.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the Sportsman Show, um, they had sponsored me a booth, and honestly, half of the time I was there, I spent time with First Nation people. There was times where my booth was lined up with people who just wanted to come and tell me that they've never seen anything like that on television before, that watching me, like I had women crying in my booth. Just saying,
Oh, really?
I've never felt connected to my culture and being out on the land and hunting when I like I do when I watch your television show. And I
That's
never
awesome.
I see it online. Obviously, social media is a big presence, and you see the comments and you see the things. But when someone comes up to you in your face and there's tears of movement, that's when you know that you have done something right, that your show is making a difference in First Nation people's lives, so that they don't have to go out and feel like they are poachers in the bush, like they are doing something wrong, like they have something to hide. Um, and that's the way it's been for so long,
Yeah.
uh, that we've been known as poachers, or that we are, we don't respect the land, or we take too much, or obviously there's a bad apple every once in the blue moon where people are taking too much or not respecting their treaty rights, but that's just like every community. Let's
Well, that's even there in ours, like
Yeah,
even those who have tags, they're still poachers.
yeah,
Like there's always a bad seed. You
yeah,
can't escape that.
yeah,
But it's just to educate yourself and actually be involved in the people who are educated and do what they're supposed to be doing.
yeah.
So, but circling back, so how did you end up starting Wild North Adventures?
So Wild North Adventures was never supposed to be anything huge. It was, like I
And
said,
now it is.
kind of, yes. Like I was never meant to be well known. Okay, I am like get anxiety in big crowds, and
Feel that.
like not who I am as a person, or who I was as a person, not who I was as a person. Even now, still, like I'm like, how big's the crowd? Like, and people have to remind me and be like, Shawna, you're on TV. Like you, and I'm like, yeah, but my cameras follow me around in the bush where there's no one else. Like, but anyways, circling back, like you said, the show just kind of started. We were starting to film. I just wanted to film like my bear hunts, stuff that I can go back and put on YouTube and just watch for fun.
Yeah.
And we were just filming our bear hunt, and Golden Eagle Camp, my family's camp, donated. We don't own it anymore, but the owners were at the time were really good to us and donated some baits for us to just film and hang out and kind of do our thing. So I posted a bear hunt, and it blew up on YouTube, and someone put it to Wild TV's editors, and I got a call. I was actually driving to Toronto to fly out to Cuba, and I got a phone call from Wild TV and offering me a television show, saying they've never had anything like that before. They would like to show a strong First Nation woman. They want to show the culture. They want to support that, and they think it's time to make a difference and make a movement on it. And so I said yes.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely. But let me just think about what that looks like. I'm going on vacation. Peace. So
I'm taking off to Cuba for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. We'll talk when I get back.
yeah, exactly. And so I went to Cuba. I thought about it. I talked to my ex-husband about it. He was supportive. Um, at the time, supportive. And
All right.
not so much supportive now. But he was supportive at the time, and we went ahead with it. And now we're filming our 4th season.
Amazing.
And yeah, we're busy with the sponsorship. I don't seek sponsorship. They seek me at this point. And every single sponsorship that's on my team, I believe in their business. I believe that are running it. DSG, for example, an amazing company, ran by women for women.
I got turned on to their gear this past weekend. So Caitlin got a waterfowl jacket, and I hadn't tried it on before, and I was like, well, I don't have a waterfowl jacket, so I brought it hunting this weekend. I was like, I need me one of these. It was warm.
Yeah, your girlfriend does DSG lots, eh? She loves it.
Oh, she loves the DSG. She loves that stuff.
Yeah.
So
They're honestly so functional. Like there's pockets where there needs to be pockets that aren't in pockets in men's gear. Like
that's what I noticed too. I was like, oh, I've got like all the pockets.
yeah, I know. Except for when I'm doing promo shots for them, I always get Lisa from DSG messaging me. Make sure your pockets are zipped up. Make sure this is done up right. You can't post pockets zipped up. I'm like, shush. Hey, Lisa, I see you.
But that's again awesome. You're a woman promoting a female clothing, like hunting, fishing clothing company. That's amazing as well.
Yeah.
And just amazing that they were able, because again, like women do also fit differently than men. Like there's a different fit.
Eyes like they fit everybody, whether you're short or tall. Like I am so tall, but my camera gear or my camera I'm tall, but my camera girl is taller than me. So I roll my like they have like little buckles on the bottom of the pants, and she just unbuckles my pants and wears my pants because they fit every height too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, so Caitlin again is short. It all fits her. I'm a little tall. It still fit me. Like it's great gear. And I was like, I need to actually invest in some of this stuff because it kept me. I had a t-shirt under my jacket because it was so warm. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I'm invested in this now.
I mean, I wear wolf hunting in -40, so
Oh, -40. Oh, I hope I don't get that down here. My goodness.
What do you mean you don't want to come down? You don't want to come down for a wolf hunt?
I mean, I would come up there, but I don't want it down here. I would come up and be ready, but I don't want to live in it for I like warmth.
I like living in it, but like I like to go away on vacation too.
And so I don't go. I'm terrified of planes, so I don't go to anywhere warm. So I just my summer here is that's my Cuba. that's Cuba for me is when it's warm here and I go to my trailer and I'm like, all right, Puerto Vallarta, let's go.
my little vacation is in April when it's high ice here, but I go for turkey hunting and then I come back and come ice fishing again.
In April. You're ice fishing in April.
Absolutely. We're pulling the shacks off in April, yeah.
Oh, well, I still need to come up there and ice fish and get a bigger pike than what I got. Like, yeah.
Like we hunt or we fish for pike like
we're going on a walk.
that are taller than me. Can you see that? Is there a glare? There.
Oh, yeah, I can see it there. Wow.
Like, that's a big pike.
That is a huge pike.
Yeah. And then we have this walleye over here too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys got some really good fishing up there.
Yeah, we have amazing fishing. We have amazing hunting. The only thing we don't have here is deer and turkey.
Well, we have an abundance of that. You should come turkey or deer hunting on our property.
I agree.
We have way too much. I was out hunting grouse the other day and I saw about 40 turkey and I'm like, all right. Like my Caitlin's dad, whose farm we hunt on, he's just like, I am done with this population. It's so overpopulated on his farm.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we're trying to take care of that. Mm-hmm. So,
and that's the thing about First Nation hunting too, is that because I don't abide by a tag system, I have an invite only for, say I want to go hunt at Alderville First Nation. Their chief and council will write me a letter of permission to go and hunt on their territory land. If I wanted to say go and hunt on Caitlin's dad's farmland, all he would have to do is write a letter of permission. So if I'm not hunting on territory land, then I have to be hunting on height of the lands or farmland with written permission by the landowner.
Oh, okay.
Like a little different than tag system.
It's very different. But we'll kind of get into that a little bit later as we were talking about the moose tagging. But you've mentioned the field to table, the harvesting, that lifestyle where you take every bit of the meat and everything. And that's obviously a huge thing for you. You harvest and keep, I'm guessing, every bit, the hides, everything.
Yeah, so I don't keep the hides as of right now, but I do keep the hide if, say, the community is say requesting that they want it.
So you share. Lots of
Absolutely.
sharing. Lots of
Lot
sharing.
spring, yes. I have harvested 3 moose this year so
Oh
far.
my.
Yes. And that goes back to I don't take more than I need. Last year, I didn't harvest at all for my freezer because I had enough moose that I thought would last me moving into this year and get me into October. I ran out of steaks in August. So I was like on pins and needles there for a little bit.
Mm.
For I wasn't eating moose meat. And like I eat a complete field to table lifestyle. Other like when it comes to meat, I only buy chicken at the grocery store. You're not going to see me buy a piece of beef there.
Well, why would you? Like,
Yeah,
if you have that,
yeah,
that's 10 times better than beef.
yeah. So I eat deer, grouse, moose, bear, fish, like anything like that. So the field to table lifestyle really is just how I live my life. But when it comes to, sorry, what were we talking? What was the question? I feel like I just went off on a tangent here.
That's fine. No, we were talking about the field stable lifestyle, and then you mentioned that you share. You
Yeah.
don't take everything for
So
yourself.
so I shot 2 moose for my personal freezer this year. Now
Okay.
I'm full, and then I donated one to Keepers of the Circle, which is an Indigenous support hub here in Kirkland Lake, and
Okay.
they provide programming, whether it's cultural programming, employment programming, family wellness programming. They are also attached to the same building as Mino Muskiki, which is our Indigenous health team. So all Indigenous doctors, nurses, everything
Oh,
was
okay.
all hub. Yeah. So
That's
Aboriginal
awesome.
cultural programming, anything like that. So if there's programming that night, that like a beading or a drum making or a sweat, anything like that, the meat that I donated will go to feed the Indigenous families during programming that day.
So when you say programming, is that just like, is it like an event or
So
like
it's
everybody in the community comes
Yep.
together?
Yep. So you can like register. Say there's like a beading night, they'll post it. I'll keepers on the
What is a beading? Sorry, I'm just out of
like
curiosity.
night, like it'll teach you how to like bead Indigenous artwork and stuff like that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So like or like a drum night where we drum like we'll drum on our cultural drums or
Well, that sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
yes, it's moving, it's spiritual, it's healing, it's beautiful. And we or say we do a full moon ceremony and we have the community members come. There's all often a meal. So the meat from that moose will feed the community during those programming times.
And that's like you don't just do that with moose. Is that the other animals and stuff that you've harvested before, or is it just kind of you do moose
It's
mostly with that?
moose that I donate. If there's like a fish fry or something like that, then I'll donate that as well. But we do actually I do harvest bear and then I bring the bear fat and I've done cultural teachings with keepers on how to render down bear fat and things like that for like medicinal medicine purposes because in our culture. So I don't know if you've seen that big massive bear that I shot.
Oh, yeah, I've seen all the things. Yeah,
Yeah.
I follow you. I know you, girl.
So last spring I shot a very massive bear. It was 428 pounds guts out. So it would be
Yeah.
over 500 pounds guts in.
Good
Now,
for you.
yes.
Oh
And
my gosh.
yes, it was a rush. It was amazing. But there's a lot surrounding that hunt that brought a lot of negativity to my career. Yeah.
Okay.
And not because um, from anyone in the hunting community. It because rightfully that hunt was successful and I have everything to be proud of about it. And it is a huge accomplishment for any hunter to be able to harvest a bear at that magnitude and at that quality. And it's probably my lifetime black bear.
I was gonna say that's like your once in a lifetime big bear that you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate his life more than anybody will ever know. And not one piece of him went to waste. He's at the taxidermist right now. He's getting a full mount. I used all of his fat, all of his meat, and he's going to be remembered forever. But when it saying that, I think it's a great place to address this, in a safe space to address this now, is um, I've received a lot of flack back from my First Nation community and about it. Yes. And it's because we have clans in our First Nation beliefs, and I'm an Eagle clan. So, but a lot of my community members are Bear clan.
Okay.
So when they watched that back, they thought I wasn't being respectful towards the animal. They see pain, they see suffering, they see anger, it hurts. It's like watching your favorite animal die and be tortured, you know? And that is a tough part about my career, is how to portray that respectfully, um, but also in a way that I have a job to do. And I have a lot of people that watch my show that aren't First Nation, and I still have to give them the quality of footage that they deserve.
Mhm.
Um, and with wild, you're only allowed to show a certain amount of seconds of that animal dying anyway.
I was gonna ask that. Yeah, obviously you can't show the full
No.
thing. It's probably for TV sensory purposes or whatever it is. I'm guessing it's just a quick shot.
Yeah. So um, after that show had aired, lots of people wanted to see the full footage. And because social media is so powerful, I put a poll up and every single person said yes, they want to see the full footage. So I released the full footage. And from 56 seconds from when that bear entered frame to when the bear died, it took 56 seconds. So that is not suffering. That is a very, very, very clean hunt, and in my eye, successful, because most black bears, when you shoot them, they take off and they run in the bush. And
I was gonna say you didn't have to chase it, right?
no,
In 56 seconds?
yes, it landed 15 feet from my feet.
Oh, okay.
It barrel rolled and it laid there and died. And the letters of support from M&R and leading industry professionals after they've watched the video stated that a second bullet would have been a waste.
Oh,
And
so you actually got the M&R involved as
uh,
well, or the M&R reached out to you?
absolutely, I had to, because
Yeah.
my community was trying to remove my status card, trying to remove me from my reserve, saying
What?
I made this animal suffer. I'm a trophy hunter. I should have given this animal a second bullet. And the reality of it was from hunters who were or people who were uneducated and not hunters for themselves.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing too. Like
And
if you aren't a hunter, you don't really know.
no, and that's a huge thing, but that is also the double-edged sword that I battle with when I try and portray something on TV, because I don't only have to now think about the respect that I need from my hunting community, but also the aspect of, am I respecting everybody culturally as well? So when you see me post, it's because I've went over that post 10, 12, 20, 30, 40, 50 million times before I actually post something, to make sure that I am respecting everybody involved when it comes to culture, when it comes to the outdoor community, when it comes to women
Yeah.
in the and that's another huge thing, is being such a large role model for women in the outdoors.
Huge.
Huge.
You're one of my role models, like, and that's why I was like, oh my god, she's actually going to come talk to me. This is amazing.
I called you. I gave you a shout out at the Sportsman Show.
Oh yeah, you did, for pineapple shorts. I'm not going to get into that.
I can't. I see your social media.
Oh my goodness. Just wait till the outfit next year at the Sportsman Show.
So finally, the bear, I just kind of said, you want to know what? I know that I've done everything possible in my power to make sure that that animal was respected. I didn't do anything wrong. I need to be proud of it. And I am proud of it. And the haters can hate all they want. That animal died in 56 seconds. And a barramone is enough to scare a grown-ass man out of the bush, if you haven't heard it.
I haven't, so.
Yeah, when a bear dies, 90% of the time it has this like blood curdling scream that it's like a child dying almost. And it's a moment of silence that you take, you know, and it's something you're never going to forget. If you talk to anybody who bear hunts avidly, they will tell you that it's scary. It's not something not everybody hears it, but if you do, it's not a fun time. And I'm assuming that the people who weren't hunting and watched that video, it moved them in a way
Yeah.
to that that animal was suffering and it wasn't. And I mean, when an animal is shot, it takes that amount of time for organs to shut down and things to shut down, and for that animal to actually expire. So if I were to just continue to have shot bullets in it, it would not have made a difference.
No.
And it was what it was, and I'm still proud of it.
As you should be. That's a massive, like you said, it's a once in a lifetime. Like, you're probably never going to shoot a bear of that size again.
Yeah.
Like, it's the once in a lifetime. And again, you used every bit of the bear. Like, nothing went to waste. It's not like you just shot it and it's going up on your wall. No, no, no. You harvested all the meats, like everything.
Every yeah,
So again, like that's ethical hunting. Like, if you're going to harvest an animal, everything should get used,
yeah,
especially of a bear of that size. Like, I
yeah,
can only imagine how much bear fat you got off that.
a lot. And
I
I
was gonna say.
donated a lot of that rendered down bear fat to elders of Alderville First Nation community who have like pain, like arthritis pain, and I use it at my house for like when Cohen has an ear infection. I put some behind his ear. It's like gone the next day.
So is it like straight up bear fat that you use, or is it like a mixture of bear fat and then a couple other things for these kind of medicinal purposes?
So I use straight up bear fat for Cohen, but a lot of people they'll render down, like they'll boil cedar and put cedar oil in there, or they'll put different medicines and they'll mix it together and use it as like a salve. So it's
Okay.
on your preference on how to use it. I always just put a little bit. I just keep it in the fridge in like a little mason jar. And whenever he has like a sore ear or something like that, I always just or dry hands. My girlfriend
Oh,
Terry, she has dry hands, like she uses like she juices. She has a company called Juice Me Healthy, and so her hands are always so raw,
yeah.
and I give her some of that and it's just way better.
Got it.
Yeah,
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, a friend of mine has given me a jar of bear fat, so I might have to try that on my hands because
you should.
being a pardon?
You should.
Yeah, like being a mechanic and a guitar player and everything like that, like my hands are always so dry and chapped or calloused and whatever, so
Yeah,
I might have to give that a shot.
you should.
All right, now let's talk about this moose hunt. Harvested 3 moose. Mooses.
Moose one, three moose.
That's exciting. I'm
Yeah.
still like, moose hunt is like my dream hunt, and here you are harvesting 3. Not jealous at all. So,
Yet for me. I'm still hunting. Um, but the three moose hunt this year, I I have a hard time talking about it without getting emotional.
be emotional. It's raw, it's real. It's feel all the feels.
My brother, very gay, flamboyantly gay, and he has from the city, flight attendant, says to me, Shauna, this year's the year. I want to come down and you're taking me for a moose hunt. He's First Nation as well. So I was
Okay.
like, okay, let's go. Come on down. He's like, well, what time do I gotta wake up? I was like, at 4:30 in my truck for 5. Like, let's go. So my brother forgot boots, but I don't think he even owned boots. So that morning he goes, Shauna, I don't have any boots. And a few years ago, we lost my cousin Cody Fox, and he was an avid outdoorsman. And I have his boots that he left them in my truck a few weeks before he passed away when we were out moose hunting. And I kept his boots in the basement, and no one has worn them since him. So I said to Robbie, I said, well, Cody's boots are in the basement. Go get them. So he put Cody's boots on and didn't think anything of it, put Cody's boots on, and we got in the truck, loaded my son in the truck, Robbie in the truck, and we went to the bush. And we sat at the end of the road, and that morning as the sun came up, and I gave him tobacco and my son tobacco, and we went outside and we prayed together as family. Just being thankful for the day, being thankful to be able to wake up that morning, being thankful that we have these experiences and this ability to be able to go out and harvest for our family. And we put tobacco down, and in the road we went, and It was a long morning. We didn't see anything going in, and my brother and I were talking about how we were excited to go home and have a nap and get in the hot tub. And the words he said, I'll never forget. He said, "Shauna, I'm not even sure or positive that I know what a moose looks like in real life."
Oh my God.
And not even 2 minutes later, there's 3 moose standing in front of us.
Oh my goodness.
So I said, "Oh my God, there's a moose." And I pulled up and I shot. And the moose ran around the corner. And so I got out and I walked down the cut road thinking that he just walked around the corner and he would be standing there giving me a second shot. So as I get up there, I saw him standing at the top of the cut, and I took a second shot and boom, he went down. And then the first moose I shot stood up.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, well, you're not the first one that I shot then. You're the second one, and okay. So I shot the first one I shot, and that one went down. So now I'm at 2 moose. So then I just look over to my right, and then about from 10, I'd say probably 10 yards away. Like I could throw a rock and hit her. The cow is standing there, and she like normally I don't believe in taking cows. I don't hunt cows if I don't have to. I just harvested 2 beautiful bulls. I don't need a cow. So I just thought maybe because she was an estrus that she was just acting really weird. And so we turned around and we walked away, and I knew that I had lots of work to do. I had just harvested 2 moose. So in the middle of, I was probably 40 kilometers from any sort of cell phone service. So we got in the truck.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got in the truck and expecting that she's going to be gone when we got back. We were like, she's going to peace out. She's just weirded out right now and scared because we just shot her 2 buddies. So we took off. We called for help. We got to cell phone service, called for help. We were gone for probably 2 hours. Came back.
Okay.
Yeah. We came back to start gutting and pull the animals out, and she was still standing in the exact same spot. Yeah. So then we waited another half an hour. All of our help showed up. She was still standing there. So
What?
yes. So then at that point we had four or 5 trucks, and we all blared our horns. She didn't move. I shot 4 bullets in the air. She didn't move. So we were like, what is happening? So I get the 4-wheeler out of the truck and we drive down, and I drive the 4-wheeler up and I bumped her. Like I literally bumped her with the 4-wheeler. And at that point that I was close enough, I could see that her eyes were white. So she was dead blind. She could not move because clearly those 2 bulls were guiding her.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. So she just laid down. She gave up. When I bumped her with the 4-wheeler, she just laid down. And so I went back to service and I called my elder and I said, what do I do?
Well, that's a tough situation to be in. Yeah.
Tough situation to be in because, and that's the difference between a tagged hunter and who's hunting for sport and someone who is out there as a First Nation hunter who's there to take care of the land and take care of the animals on it. Mm-hmm. And the elder said to me, Shauna, don't leave her there. Because what's coming? Once those gut bags are out of those bulls, what's coming? And I said, bears, wolves.
Yeah.
You know, she goes, mm-hmm. And that. I said, well, she's probably going to get eaten alive, like literally alive. Like while she's alive, those animals are going to eat her because mm-hmm. she can't run. She can't move. She's going to lay there and get eaten alive. So I did what I did, and I went up and I went back and I went up to her and she let me walk right up to her, and she knew I was there. I put the barrel to her head, and that was it for her. So I took her life that day, and I knelt with her and I bawled my eyes out because it wasn't something that I wanted to do nor planned to do. And but her life was appreciated, and we brought her back to the butcher, and the butcher went over the meat and she said that this meat's more beautiful than the bull meat. So
and you also ended her suffering too.
Ended her suffering and her potential like long suffering, like literally alive. So my plan was never to harvest 3 moose. It was to harvest 2. And it just happened that way, and her meat was donated and she's appreciated, and she went out in a better way than she came into this world, because I think the butcher said she was probably born blind. They were all the same age, so he thinks that they were probably born triplets, and those bulls had guided her whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is, and I'm proud of that hunt. And that was my brother's first bull hunt, or first moose hunt, and my first hunt with my son being there with my brother. And it was such a family moment, and I loved every minute of that hunt.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting emotional, like, just listening to you talk about it. I'm like, that's a beautiful story. And like you said at the beginning of the episode, like, these animals, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Clearly that was supposed to happen. Like, instead of her suffering, like you said, a long, drawn out, animals coming and taking chunks out of her here and there, it just ended and her life was put to good use.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
that's
The whole thing's filmed for the show, and I filmed it. We filmed it, and I wasn't sure I was going to even talk about it. That's why I only posted the two bulls in my on my social media. I went back and forth on whether I was going to talk about the cow. But now that I sit with my emotions about how it happened, and talking to people about how it happened, and the course of action that was taken about it, I'm for sure going to air it about the show and on the show. And yeah, so it was a good.
well, that's the thing too. Like, you didn't just like, all right, let's do this. You sat and consulted and you were like, okay, is this really truly the right thing to do?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like just an impulsive, like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
You really actually dealt with it the proper way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we're still not done. We still have one more hunt going right now, for my dad's bull.
Yes, because he has the tag. He has a tag?
Tag. He has a tag. This is the first tag that he's gotten 16 years of applying for the bull tag in it's called WMU?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. WMU 28.
So has he gotten a moose before, and that's why it took so long to get a tag again?
Yeah, so he's hunted his whole life. So he's had a bull tag before. His last bull tag was 16 years ago.
Oh my.
Yes. So other members of our party have gotten bull tags under their name, but this is his bull under his name, his first one in 16 years. So I hunt with them. I bring my gun with me, but I also am hardcore carrying my camera and hunt with him behind him right now, because I'd love to see him be the one that takes out his tag and have a camera for him for the rest of his life, because who knows if he'll ever get another bull tag in his lifetime at that.
If it's been 16 years already, so.
Exactly. And he's like almost in his 60s. So
how much longer is he going to want to be trapezing around the bush? And
it's
a lot of work.
Trapezing around the bush for a very long time. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and he is excited to get it. I am excited to get it. While I've been on the phone with you, I had half my hunt party messaging me, trying to figure out what's going on for when my dad gets home. Because my dad works for in Nunavut right now, so we had to put his bull hunt on pause while he's away at work, but he comes home this week, so we're going to be heading back in the bush with our hunt party this weekend in hopes to fill that tag.
Well, that's super exciting. Well, yeah, wish you best of luck on that one.
Thank you. No
problem. And I think that actually brings us right around to the end of time. So the last question I'm going to ask you is, what's one, everyone always says, like, just get out there. But what's one actual piece of advice you would give to new hunters that are still in the game, but still like not having success? Like, one piece of advice that comes just from you yourself, whether it's like wear warm socks or whatever, just instead of just get out there. Everybody knows that we need to get out there, but what's like a trade secret? Like, just one piece of advice you'd give.
Don't be too prideful to ask questions, because there's guys out there that are like frig, I can't get anything to hit my bait. What are you doing that's different? And it's like that even for me in my culture. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions, because no question is a stupid, and like, no, that's not a stupid, like, no question is a stupid question in my opinion, because you could get that knowledge and it could be something that resonates with you, but it could be something that doesn't. But if it does, then you take that little piece of information and you apply it to what works for you in the outdoors. And who knows, maybe it can make just like a big difference in your game out there. Whether it comes to hunting, fishing, different lures, different casting techniques, different walking types in the bush, like walking ways in the bush, or, it could be anything that you're struggling with. Just always ask, because um, there's people out there that have different ways and different thought processes, and you can always learn.
Exactly. Learning never stops. Learning never stops at
Never.
the end of the day.
Never.
So, but okay, that is an awesome piece of advice. I want to thank you again for coming on and being my first guest. I really appreciate that.
And do it. You're coming up north.
Yes, we're going to come up north and we're going to do some ice fishing because I want to get the pike that's taller than me, apparently.
Agreed.
Yeah, so
in the fall at some point if you'd like. So
I'm always down with that. But thank you again. It's been awesome talking with you, chatting with you. I'm sure I'll probably have you back here come ice fishing or other seasons, because there's always things to talk about.
You know how to get a hold of me.
Exactly. Awesome. And again, just make sure you watch our social media for our chili moose giveaway. And thank you guys so much for tuning into episode 1.